Today, Niantic announced the June Pokemon Go Community Day event. And we haven't even had the May event yet, but they've already announced that the June event is going to be Gible. And as expected, this announcement was met with all sorts of different reactions online. Reactions ranging from very positive to very negative. And I wanted to go over and give my thoughts on the whole situation, because Gible's quite a rare Pokemon. Its shiny's been out for a while, and there are people who are just not happy about this announcement. And I'm going to tell you exactly why. I personally don't care. So, the first reaction generally that I'm seeing online is, this is a rare shiny, this is devaluing my shiny. Now, this generally comes from people who already have a shiny Gible, who think that they have this rare shiny, and to be fair, they do. Gible's a very rare shiny, it's a very sought after shiny, and I do think Niantic made a mistake releasing the shiny, especially in the circumstances they did. I think they released it about 2 years ago, or just under 2 years ago at this point, without really much of an announcement, much fanfare about it, and it's been available in the game for quite some time. So I do think they made a mistake in the way they announced it. I definitely think they should have waited until they were ready to do a Community Day event for it. But let's not pretend this is the first time they've released a pseudo-legendary as a Community Day Pokemon. Like in 2018, we already had Dratini and Larvitar Community Days. And then we also had Beldum Community Day and Bagon Community Day as well. So this is just carrying on that trend. So this is the Gen 4 pseudo-legendary, and it was bound to happen. You know, they already did this with Snivy as well. Snivy's shiny was released a few months ago, and then last month they had the Snivy Community Day, which was to be expected, because generally if it's a starter or a pseudo-legendary, they're going to have their own community days. You know, we're probably going to get Froakie Community Day in the future, we're probably going to get Gumi Community Day in the future, and things like that. So this wasn't really to be unexpected. But you know, there are people who are complaining saying this devalues their shinies, and personally I don't really understand that mentality, mainly because I don't really assign value to shinies. Shinies to me are just sort of things for me to collect and for me to just sort of keep in my Pokemon home, or if I want to use them in the main games, put them in my team or things like that. Shinies to me are just a collection thing, so they don't really have value, and I do have valuable shinies, which I'll go over in a second. So for me, I have got a shiny Gible. In fact, I've had 2 shiny Gible from Pokemon Go. 3 overall, because I did complete my Pokedex in, it was either White 2 or Black 2, I can't remember which one, but if you complete your Pokedex in one of them, you get a guaranteed shiny Gible in one game and shiny Dratini in the other, and I can't remember which way around it is, but basically I completed the Pokedex in both games, which is quite a feat, to be fair, because I did that in 2017 when the online servers were shut down, so I did that without trading. I did that entirely on my own, using just the 2 copies of the games and 2DSs. So I could trade locally, but not online. So it's that sort of thing. So, you know, I have got myself a shiny Gible, a shiny Gabite, and a shiny Garchomp in Pokemon Home. 2 of those came from Pokemon Go. If any of you have seen my Pokemon Go Fest event from last July, I managed to get myself a shiny Gible. It was actually the first shiny I got in that event. I was going through the special research, and one of those events was a Gible, and the first thing I checked about 9 minutes into the event, ended up being a shiny Gible. And then the very next day, they had a dragon event going on with some more research, and one of those rewards was a shiny Gible. When people going on about their rare shinies, I think I can lay claim to having some pretty rare shinies. You know, 2 shiny Gible is nothing to laugh at. You know, that's pretty damn rare. So if anyone can make the complaint about shinies being devalued, I'd say that I have a pretty strong case. And personally, I don't care. Let other people have a chance to get a shiny Gible. It doesn't affect my life what shinies they've got. Personally, I don't care. You know, I'm not the sort of person who will go up to people and say, hey, I've got this rare shiny, what have you got to trade for it? I don't want to trade away my shiny Gibbles. I like the fact that I've got them. And I'm not going to say no to having more shiny Gible, you know. As said, it is quite a rare shiny, and it's not going to be after June. But it's just one of those things, you know. Pokemon Go has permanently devalued shinies, and you can have an opinion on whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. You know, generally devaluing shinies as a whole, I guess, is an argument you can make, which is absolutely fine. That's absolutely valid. But this idea of one particular shiny being devalued because everyone has access to it is just a strange concept to me. It's not something I really care about too much, you know. I've got my shinies, and other people can get their shinies, and it literally doesn't affect my life in any way. To put this into more perspective, you know, people saying they've got these shiny Gibbles on Pokemon Go, and it devalues those. I have, in Pokemon Home, a shiny Celebi for Pokemon Crystal, and a shiny Lugia for Pokemon Silver. Each of those took me several months of soft resetting. The Celebi was 8 months. The Lugia was 11 months. I was resetting that one from November until October. 2018 to 2019, I think. I'll have to double check, but I'm pretty sure it was 2018 to 2019. Basically, those are very rare shinies. I think the odds in the Gen 2 games were 1 in 8,196. So, the odds in Pokemon Go are about 1 in 455. I think it varies from species to species, but generally I think the odds are 1 in 455, and then you've got legendaries in raids, which are 1 in 20, Community Day, which are 1 in 25, and things like that. So it does vary on Pokemon Go, but I don't think the odds are any worse than 1 in 455. So every single shiny Pokemon will have about those odds. So, to find shiny Celebi and shiny Lugia in Pokemon Silver and Crystal is insanely rare compared to Pokemon Go. But I've got those, and I worked hard for those, and I spent months getting them. And then about a year after I got the Celebi, Pokemon Go announced an event where you can get a shiny Celebi, and everyone had access to this. It was a free event. Everyone had access to the shiny Celebi, and I saw a load of people complaining online, well, I soft reset Pokemon Crystal for the shiny Celebi. Why should everybody get a chance to get it? And my reaction was the same as it is now. I really didn't care. I mean, my Celebi still stands out from Pokemon Crystal than the one I got in Pokemon Go, mainly because of the little Game Boy icon that's in the corner. Not everybody has that, so even the people who got it through Pokemon Go don't really have that. So I suppose there is still a little distinction that makes my Celebi in Pokemon Home just that slightly bit more rare than the one I got in Pokemon Go. But even still, it didn't bother me at all that other people had access to this shiny Celebi that I'd worked so hard to get. And Lugia as well, to a smaller extent, even though not everybody has a shiny Lugia to the extent that everyone has a shiny Celebi. But like I said, legendaries in Pokemon Go, I think, are 1 in 20. And I definitely had much worse odds than that getting in Pokemon Silver. It took me 11 months of soft resetting. And I don't actually have one in Pokemon Go. I've done a lot of Lugia raids, and I still haven't found one in Pokemon Go. So, this idea of shinies being devalued, it's an alien concept to me as someone who has a lot of experience getting these rare shinies, who has the patience to soft reset. I mean, when someone sits there and says, well, I've got a Gible in Pokemon Go and it devalues that shiny, I'm sitting there like, mate, I've got a Celebi and a Lugia from the original Gen 2 games with 1 in 8,196 odds, and my shinies have been devalued by different things going on in Pokemon Go, and I don't care. Like, I get that not everyone's going to have the same opinion as me, but it just goes to show that the idea of something being valuable or rare, there's always someone else with a much rarer thing than you. So I don't really see the need to compare when it's literally other people's games. It doesn't even affect your life. So, I mean, that's my opinion on the whole rarity thing, but I think an argument can be made that people are sick of seeing community days for Pokemon that already had their shinies released. And again, I do think Niantic made a mistake releasing Gible a few months ago or a few years ago, whatever it was, and did it to such lacking fanfare. I think that they definitely should have waited to the community day, but of course, if they'd have done that, I wouldn't have got my 2 shiny Gible that I've gotten in the past. So, swings and roundabouts. It's one of those things. But I think there's an argument to be made there, and I understand that argument, but at the same time, last month I hadn't had a shiny Snivy in that other event that was on a few months ago, so that was my first chance to get a shiny Snivy, and I was quite excited for that Pokemon Go community event. And people are always complaining, last year we had Magikarp Community Day and Rosalia Community Day. I think we had Matchup in January. Those are 3 community days I didn't care about at all. Didn't bother to stream them. Magikarp Day I didn't even bother to do. I found 1 shiny Magikarp, but I was more excited about the shiny Sudowoodo I found on the exact same day. Because I didn't have a shiny Sudowoodo. Most people have a shiny Magikarp or a shiny Rosalia or a shiny Matchup at this point, who've been playing Pokemon Go for a long time. So none of those events really excited me that much, and I can understand why people were angry about those events. But when it comes to Snivy, when it comes to Gible, not everyone has these shinies. They are still relatively rare shinies. So again, they're not going to be rare shinies after last month's community day or next month's community day, but they're still, at the time of the event, they're still rare shinies. And I understand the frustration if you've already got these Pokemon. Like, for example, I've got the 2 Gible that I found over the last 12 months. But at the same time, not everyone has that opportunity. Not everybody's found those Pokemon. They're still rare Pokemon. And I'm perfectly happy to sit there next month during Community Day. I'm still going to take part in the event. I'm not sure whether I'm going to live stream it yet. But I could understand why people who have these shinies might be a little bit disappointed. But then again, at the same time, I also appreciate the fact that Pokemon Go and Niantic aren't just catering to me. And just because I have these shinies doesn't mean everybody else has had the chance to get those shinies. And I think it's perfectly fine for them to release these Pokemon as community days, even though we already have their shinies out, considering the fact of how hard these shinies have been to find. So anyway, those have been my thoughts. Drop a comment in the comment section below and tell me how I'm wrong and things like that. Personally, I don't really care at all, one way or the other, about other people having the chance to find a shiny Gible in Pokemon Go. Yes, it's been a relatively rare shiny. Yes, I've been fortunate to find 2 of them, but at the end of the day, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me one little bit. If you don't like it, I didn't like Magikarp Community Day, I didn't like Rosalia Community Day. I'm sure there were people out there excited for those 2 events. Just don't play it. Just don't take part if you don't want to. It's that simple. The game doesn't cater to you. I don't know. Those have been my thoughts anyway. The idea of devaluing shinies is a strange concept to me. As said, I mean, I would argue that the Gible I got from either Black 2 or White 2 is much rarer anyway. Not because of how hard it is to find necessarily, because of the fact that it is a guaranteed shiny. So if you do complete your Pokedex in whichever version it was, then you're guaranteed to find it. However, the online servers are now down, so that it requires that much extra work. And I honestly didn't think I was going to do it in 2017, but I ended up doing it and managed to get myself the shiny Gible. I would personally say all the extra effort of having to have 2 DSs, 2 copies of each game, and make sure you complete that Pokedex in the Unova region. It took me a couple of months, I would say that especially Hydreigon evolving at level 65, that one's a nightmare, by the way. I would say that going through the Pokedex and that, I managed to do that now that the online servers have been taken down for the DS, makes that Gible a lot rarer. So, you want to play the game of semantics, anybody who has that Gible has a rarer Gible than you. And if you have got a Gible from Pokemon Go and you complain about other people getting shinies, and it devalues your shinies, they can say the same thing about you. Anyway, I've been James of Thunder. Drop a comment in the comment section below. Like this video and share it on social media. All these things really do help out. I'm a small-time YouTuber, so any support is greatly appreciated. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.